Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kyra, and if you're not new here, I am still Kyra. And here on this channel, we are all about real makeup for real life and real people. I am so super duper excited to share with you my wrap up for my very first 1 month, 1 palette with the BH Cosmetics Avocado Toast palette. And I just wanted to briefly review the guidelines of this project, at least for this month. It's new, it's growing, it's changing, it's evolving, or at least I hope it will. So first of all, I wanted to try and use every shade in this palette at least 3 times. I did not meet that goal, unfortunately, but we'll go ahead and talk about that. And the other guideline was that the only shadows or palettes that I could use with the BH Cosmetics palette were my 3 palettes that I have in project pans, because of course I want to continue to make progress. So the first one is the ABH Norvina palette, the C Color Savannah palette, which is meant to be a dupe for Natasha Denona Safari. I would still love to have that palette. And then also I have pulled out from the Off Melrose palette the 2 shades that I'm working on, which are Easy Breezy and Angelino down here. The rest of this is just a little fall palette that I put together for myself. Monday. So I want to put in here for your viewing enjoyment the before and after pictures of my actual BH Avocado Toast palette. There's definitely some dips forming in certain shades. I would say Expensive, Lemon Pepper, and Pit were probably, and maybe Paprika. Those are the shades I would say there is the most visual progress on. We'll talk about the numbers in a minute, but I'm glad to see that overall this palette has gotten used, every single shade, and of course some more than others. There's definitely shades that surprised me that I didn't make more progress on, or that I thought might have bigger dips in them. I will say that I hit pan in 3 project pan eyeshadows while doing this 1 month, 1 palette project. I'm not going to show you which shades because you'll see those in my upcoming project pan updates, but I was really excited about that, and I was glad that I chose to use those palettes or those eyeshadows in conjunction with the Avocado Toast palette. The other thing I wanted to mention is that while I'm not going to be continuing the monochromatic project pan for the rest of the year, my goal in that project for this month was to use this palette 20 times or more, and today you are enjoying the 20th look. And so I was really excited about that. I did forget to take a picture of one look, which was just a bronzer in my crease and then avocado just lightly dispersed all over the lid. Unfortunately, I didn't get a picture. And then the other thing I thought I would make mention of before we get into the shade counts was that I actually only did 3 looks with just this palette this month. So I really, again, did make use of my project pan eyeshadows and had a lot of fun. I had 3 eyeshadows that I used 6 times, which was the most that I used any one shade. I was really surprised about this, but I did have approximately 10 days this month that I did not wear makeup. But the shades I used the most were first and foremost Avocado. This was great on the lid as well as a topper or a shade to lighten up any shade that might be underneath. The second shade that I used 6 times was Superfood, and this does not surprise me at all. Here's Avocado and here is Superfood right here. Superfood is kind of my favorite color of green. It's that army or dusty or yeah, just army green. And I really love that shade, especially for like a crease or an outer corner. And I really enjoyed that shade and knew I would. But the other shade that surprised me that I used 6 times was this shade Pit right here. What surprised me about this was the actual shade. This shade, while it looks brown in the pan, in a swatch and blended out on the eye, It has a very purplish, plummy undertone to it, which, by the way, is my favorite type of deep brown to work with. So I was really excited and pleasantly surprised to discover that. There was 2 shades that I used 5 times, and they were Lemon Pepper and Over Easy, which is just a very soft yellow shade. Not at all surprised about Lemon Pepper. From the get-go, while swatching it and etc., that was by far my favorite shade. It's kind of a duochrome, and it's just extremely lovely as a brightening shade to put on the lid. It is a huge part of what I have brightening my lid today. And then of course, Over Easy, while it looks really light, it is actually pretty pigmented for a pastel yellow shade. But it was a great way to set up a lot of looks with this palette, whether it was green looks or just some like warmer neutral looks. It was great to start off with the yellow and go in with paprika, but it was also just great to start with the yellow and go in with like some of these green mattes here. There were also 2 shades that I used 4 times, and that was Pink Salt and Paprika. Again, this is not a surprise to me because I was surprised actually how many non-green looks that I got out of this palette while combining it with my Project Pan shadows. So that was really exciting. The rest of the shades I used 3 times, except for a couple I did not meet that goal. The shades I only used 2 times were Spicy up here, Haas, which is actually a really beautiful sort of shimmer version of an army green. It's nothing at all wrong with the shade. I just somehow didn't seem to gravitate toward it. And then Green Juice, Guac, and Extra I also only used 2 times, which was surprising to me. I love this shade, Green Juice. It's another beautiful, lighter, brightening shade for the lid. Guac, I don't tend to go for teals in my makeup. As much as I love teal in decorating and things like that, I don't tend to wear a lot of teal, and I don't tend to use a lot of teal on my eyes. But other than that, I used all of the shades at least 3 times. So next, I would like to share with you my montage of all of the looks that I created this month, as well as which shades I placed where. I'm really excited to share this with you. I'm very proud of it. It was a lot of work, which is why I'll only be doing this project maybe every other month or every 3rd month. But I hope you enjoy seeing all of the looks, and then I will see you again at the end with my final thoughts about using this palette for an entire month. I hope you guys enjoyed the montage of looks as much as I enjoyed putting it all together. While it was a lot of work, it was totally worth it for me seeing the finished product and feeling like it really presented the spans of this project, what it encapsulated for an entire month. I first wanted to share what my favorite looks were. I don't think I really had much of a least favorite look. I think I at least liked all of the looks that I created this month, but I had two favorites. The first one is my favorite non-green look, which is number 8. I really enjoyed how this came out. It really was one of those days where I just sort of started throwing shades on. I had all my palettes laid out here, and I loved the outcome. It was very sultry. It's something I would like to recreate. If I'm being honest, I think it would be a fabulous date night look. One of the looks was a date night look, and I will put it up here. Not my favorite of all of the ones that I created, but I did like it. It was soft, it was feminine, and it was appropriate for the type of date night that we were having, which was just, you know, picking up food and watching movies at home. The other look I really enjoyed was number 16. This was my favorite green look by far. It was really hard to choose between the green looks, which was my favorite, but I just really enjoyed number 16. So let me know down below which were your favorites, and Nona, yes, I do expect you to rank all 18 looks. So let's talk about how I feel about the palette after using it a month. Surprisingly, I'm not bored with it, and I really loved how it gave me so much progress on my Project Pan eyeshadows. Every day I laid out all 4 of the palettes and just kind of took in mind what I was looking to do that day, as well as what clothes I was going to wear or what type of video I was going to film. And I just really enjoyed that a lot. I am so pumped for this project now. I cannot wait to do it again in November, though I am looking forward to being able to just sort of play around and play with some newer palettes in October. Lemon Pepper, like I said, is still a favorite. It's one that I thought from the beginning would be a favorite. It's just a type of green that I like. It's very brightening. It's a little bit of a duochrome, which I love. So no surprise there, but like I said, I was surprised how much I like the shade Pit. I really enjoyed using Paprika, especially in combination with the shade Easy Breezy from the ColourPop Off Melrose palette. I also really enjoyed pairing my C-Color Savannah palette. It has a lot of neutrals in here, but it also has some color. I'm kind of working on this shade, this green up here, and this sort of mustard down here specifically, but I did get a lot of use out of this palette this month. And then the shades that I'm kind of specifically working on in Norvina, I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you, you'll be able to see I hit pan on base this month. I'm also working toward hitting pan on Dreamer and Dazzling over here, and it just really paired well and sort of gave a few shadows that I felt like this palette didn't offer me. The Avocado palette, that is number 1, sort of a matte to satin cream color for my inner corner. It also had sort of this mid-tone shade called Incense, which was really nice to use as a transition for some of the green looks. It is actually the shade I have in my transition today. So overall thoughts, I am not in the least bored with this. I really feel like I discovered the versatility of this, as well as some of the types of greens that I'm not a huge fan of on my eyes. So that helps me for future reference that I not continue to acquire those types of greens. Not a single dud shade in this palette, and they all perform beautifully. So that about wraps up my 1 month 1 palette with the BH Cosmetics Avocado Toast palette. like I said, I'll be doing this project again in November, and as a reminder, I would love for you guys to vote, whether it be down in the comments on my community tab or over on my Instagram, which palette you would like to see me use in November. Again, as a reminder, we have ABH Subculture. I personally would really love to use that for a month and really get into it, but then there's also the beautiful ABH and Jackie Aina palette here. Then I have the Natasha Denona. Oh God, no! That was rude. And then we have the Natasha Denona Trio Chrome palette. I'm really spooked after that. Like, all of the shades fell out, half of them. Anyhow, I think this would be really fun for fall as well. And then lastly, an oldie but a goodie, the Juvia's Place Saharan palette, which I definitely think is a beautiful fall color story, but that is going to be up to you guys. I will put together all of the votes from all of the different platforms. Feel free to vote on all of the platforms, but if you don't mind, I'd rather people didn't vote more than once on one single platform, if that makes sense. I really like to have this just be, you know, a very organic vote for what you guys would like to see me make use of in November. So thank you guys for tuning in today. If you did, I'm hoping this video will do well. But it really doesn't matter because I am in love with this project. I think it's a fantastic way to get to know a palette as well as stretch your creativity, and in my case, get a lot of use out of my project pan palettes. So thank you for tuning in. If you did like this video, I would really appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up and maybe subscribe if you haven't already. Then we can see each other in my next video. And with all that said, I hope all of your makeup days are absolutely beautiful makeup days.